what sparked your interest in piano?
Yeah, so I started piano lessons. I actually can give you the exact date. I had my
Oh,
first
you have
piano
a
lesson.
date.
Yeah, October 23rd, 1997.
Okay.
That was when I first had my very, very first piano lesson.
What is it? October 23rd, 97?
Sorry? Yeah,
Okay.
that's the date. I remembered it because I found one of my old notebooks when I was a kid, and I looked at it, found the first date I ever had a lesson, and I just never forgot that. I have a horrible memory, but I remembered that, and that kind of stuck with me. But I started tinkering with keys when like I was a kid. I was musically inclined. Like my parents, like my mom, played guitar. My dad jokes and he's like, I play the kazoo. He can't do. But my like grandpa was a choir singer, and like my mom's side of the family all is artists. Like my one of my uncles an abstract artist. The other uncle is a virtuosic pianist and composer as well. Like there's a lot of music in my family, and we had a toy piano growing up, and I would just bash the crap out of it when I was a kid, but I loved it. And then eventually we got a hold of a Yamaha upright that I guess I'll talk about later as to like why I kind of wish I still had it. But I would play on it as a kid, and my mom taught me a few songs, like Heart and Soul and whatnot, the easy ones, and like how to play the melody. And so then they're like, okay, well let's get you some piano lessons. So I started doing it, and I fell in love with it. And then I was a teenager, and that was a rough patch of I was going to quit, or I didn't know. I was like, I want to play the saxophone or like the upright bass. I was interested in other stuff. But at that point I had gotten pretty good at the piano, and my mom was like, why would you do anything else? You actually just know how to do this already. So let's do that. And then I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life in high school. I was going to go into history, actually, I think. Like go into like ancient history was a thing I was super into. But I went to a music festival, and I can't remember the name of it anymore. But I went to a music festival when I was a sophomore in high school. And it was my first time like going to like one of those like music institutes, and I had the most fun. And I met a bunch of like Juilliard prep kids who were like studying at like the prep college in New York City.
Okay.
And instead of being like disheartened because they were way better than me, I was very inspired, and I was like, you know what, I love playing the piano, and if they can do this, then like, man, I can figure this out too. So when I got back, I started practicing like a crazy person. Just I was like, and that is to say I'm a lot healthier in the way I practice now. But when I was in high school, I was like, the more hours the better, so I was clocking 4 or 5 hours a day and just like sitting there like learning repertoire. I went to Tanglewood the year after when I was in high school, so that was kind of cool. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm getting better. But I suffered from performance anxiety all through college. Like I love playing the piano, but I really
Just not in front of people.
I was terrified to play in front of audiences. It was really weird that I just never got over that hump. But I mean, I'm like, I love playing in front of people now. But yeah, there was a point in my life where I was terrified to like play Beethoven, play anything, because I was like, I'm gonna have a memory slip, I'm gonna mess up, I'm gonna do this. Like I was just like constantly hampering myself.
When you perform now, how many times do you screw up?
Oh, all the time. But
no one notices.
No one noticed. Exactly. Yeah, it was like a thing. I did not screw up in the piece I just played, by the way. But that is actually a thing that I like got okay with, because one of the biggest lessons I learned from my piano teacher in my undergrad, she taught me to like be okay with imperfections. You are human. Like you are going to make mistakes. And so it's about understanding the music, and it's about making a beautiful sound, or making the sound that you need to for the job. So my whole focus when I play is thinking about sound. And which helped me a lot with like going into avant-garde music and going into more contemporary performance practice, because I process noise as music, and that's how I use it as an expressive device. It's not something that's like foreign to me. It's something that's part of who I am, and like taking that idea of sound and how do we manipulate it, use it for expressive purposes, regardless of the genre, is what it keeps me excited to perform, but also like relieves a lot of the anxieties of what performance was for me before, which was don't make a mistake.
Yeah.
Now it's about just make the music worth it for the listener. Like, what does the audience want to hear or experience?
Wow. So you're practicing like 4 or 5 hours a day in high school?
Yeah.